Okay, dear friends, welcome to the 14th class of the Bhagavad Gita. We are studying from the book God Talks with Arjuna, and we are studying chapter 2. We shall begin our class with a prayer. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, Friend, Beloved God, Bhagwan Krishna, Jesus Christ, Maha-Avatar Babaji, Lahiri Mahashay, Swami Shri Yukteswar Ji, beloved Gurudev Paramhansa Yogananda Ji. Now invoke the presence of the Gurus by singing the hymn to Brahma, followed by a chant. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Brahmanandam Paramasukhadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasyadilakshayam Ekam Nityam Vimalam Achalam Sarvadi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Triguna-rahitam Sadgurum Tvam Namami. Tvameva Mata cha Pita Tvameva, Tvameva Bandhu cha Sakha, Tvameva, Tvameva Vidya Dravidam, Tvameva, Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva, Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Shri Radhe 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 Shyam Govind Radhe Shri Radhe Shri Radhe 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 Shyam Govind Radhe Shri Radhe Govind Radhe Radhe Shyam Gopal Radhe Radhe Govind Radhe Radhe Shyam Gopal Radhe Radhe Shri Radhe 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 Shyam Govind Radhe Shri Radhe Shri Radhe 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 Shyam Govind Radhe Shri Radhe Govind Radhe Radhe Shyam Gopal Radhe Radhe Govind Radhe Radhe Shyam Gopal Radhe Radhe Shri Radhe 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 Shyam Govind Radhe Shri Radhe Shri Radhe 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 Shyam Govind Radhe Shri Radhe Govind Radhe Radhe Shyam Gopal Radhe Radhe Govind Radhe Radhe Shyam Gopal Radhe Radhe Shri Radhe 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 Shyam Govind Radhe Shri Radhe Shri Radhe 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 Shyam Govind Radhe Shri Radhe Govind Let's take a few moments in silence. And let's acknowledge the presence of Radha and Krishna within ourselves. Think of Radha as all the bodily activities, as the energy causing the body activities, and all your thoughts and emotions. And contemplate Krishna as the witness consciousness, which as the subject is able to objectify the body, its energy, and thoughts and emotions. All of us present here are Radha and Krishna together. The play, the drama, the Leela of the Lord. We are participants in it. Let us happily, joyfully, willingly, and consciously participate in this Leela of Krishna. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So friends, we resume our study of the Gita, and we are on chapter 2. And in the last class, we studied how Krishna is advising Arjuna that in between the dualities of nature, he must stay calm, centered, and even-minded, whether it is pleasure or pain, whether it is heat, cold, whether it is success or failure. In between all dualities, he must take the stance of being even-minded, calm, centered, and cheerful. And then he goes on to tell Arjuna that what is the nature of existence, that how there is real and the unreal, and what is real is going to be in existence always, and what is unreal cannot exist. And then he goes on to say that the same essence, the soul, the spirit stays the same, while all the changes are happening in the outward matter or nature. And in the same breath, the next few verses will tell us and will help us to distinguish between our soul nature and our existence as body-mind complex, and that how we must differentiate between the two, because the bodily nature is going to change, but the soul nature is that changeless essence of who we are. And if we adhere or keep our attention on the changeless soul, then we can rise above the suffering that is caused by all the changes in the body-mind complex. So we move on to shloka number 20 of chapter 2 of the Gita. And it says, न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचिन्नायं भूत्वा भविता वनुभूय अजो नित्यः शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे। यह आत्मा ना तो कभी जन्म लेती है, ना ही कभी मरती है, ना एक बार अस्तित्व में आने के पश्चात पुनः कभी नष्ट होती है। यह अजन्मी, शाश्वत, अपरिवर्तनशील और सदा समान यानी काल से संबंधित सामान्य प्रक्रियाओं से अप्रभावित है। शरीर के मारे जाने पर यह नहीं मरती। This self is never born, nor does it ever perish, nor having come into existence will it again cease to be. It is birthless, eternal, changeless, ever same, unaffected by the usual processes associated with time. It is not slain when the body is killed. So here's a clear distinction. And what Master wants us to understand in this is that when the body is born, there naturally changes happen in the body. So birth itself is a change in existence. So body comes into existence, then it is maintained in a particular fashion. That means it continues to change from childhood to youth to adulthood. Then it starts to decay, and then finally it dies. And behind these processes of continuous change is a sense of us which always remains changeless, which is immovable, which is imperishable, which is not born and which does not die. And that is who we really are, and that is our soul nature. And that soul is a reflection or an image of the infinite spirit. So what is the difference between spirit and soul? So Master says that spirit is, we know it is Satchidananda. So ever new existence, ever new consciousness, and ever new blissful in its omnipresent aspect. So in every atom of creation and beyond creation, that which ever exists is ever conscious and is ever new bliss is the infinite spirit. And the soul is an individualized aspect of that infinite spirit that associates itself with the antahakarna, means the ego, the mind, the intellect, and the chitta, the feelings. And then it feels that it is individualized. And all the changes that are happening is when the soul gets identified with the little I-ness of the ego, the body, and the mind. So all the change happens there. But the soul, which is a pure reflection of the spirit, that essence cannot change, does not change, and therefore it will benefit us if we can all the time identify ourselves with that infinite essence of who we are. A little example that I would like to give here is, and last time we gave the example of that, how, if in a pot there is water, and if the reflection of the sun can be seen in the water, by destroying the pot or by spilling the water away, the real sun does not get destroyed. And similarly, our bodies are like those pots, our minds are like the water, and the reflection of the sun is that soul which is there, and the infinite vast spirit is the sun. Never will be there an example which is perfectly telling us about soul and spirit, because the spirit and soul both are beyond the scope of language and explanation, because they are beyond the scope of intellect. However, we can give examples of the ocean and the wave, or of the pot and the water and the body and the mind, or the crystal, which are close references and which can be used as pointers towards the soul. So another example is, if you think of a crystal clear lake. So suppose you have gone to a hill station and there is this beautiful lake in front of you, and the water of the lake is very clear, and the water of the lake is very still. There is no movement in that water. So what you see reflected in the water is the beautiful mountains, the trees, the blue sky, and the clouds. All are very beautifully reflected in the water. But if you now put a pebble in that water, now with the wavelets that are caused in the water, the reflection that you were able to see earlier of the trees, of the mountains, of the clear blue sky is distorted now. Now, the same thing happens to us, since our mind is like that water. And because of our own desires, our attachments, our emotions, our likes and dislikes, we are throwing stones in the lake of our mind, in the Mansarovar of our, which is the lake of our mind. We are throwing stones and pebbles of big size. Sometimes we are throwing boulders, and sometimes we are throwing little pebbles. That there are so many waves and wavelets in the lake of our mind that it is unable to reflect the infinite spirit as it must. So therefore, what all yoga practice does is it leads to chitta vritti nirodha. So that means it causes the stilling of those waves and wavelets in the lake of our mind. And once that happens, the reflection of the spirit is automatically seen in the mirror of the mind. And the same mind and intellect, which when associated with the ego, are used to function in this world through the limited awareness of the brain, the nervous system, and the senses, the same mind and intellect can now be used as a cleansed and pure mirror to reflect the infinite spirit. And that is the entire purpose of yoga practice, where we are needing to still the waters of our mind. And that is why chitta shuddhi, or purity of heart, purity of feeling, is important, because it is not easy to attain that stillness of the water. And again, we must remind ourselves that we cannot just go into meditation and go into chitta vritti nirodha. We have to start from the yamas and the niyamas. Unless our don'ts and do's are right, unless the energy in the astral spine moves correctly in the upward direction, unless we are able to cleanse ourselves of all base and impure thoughts and are able to control our feelings, as Krishna has said in the previous shloka, that unless we can stay calm and centered within ourselves in spite of the outer circumstances, unless we achieve all those things, it is not possible to still the waters of the mind. And therefore, the Ashtanga Yoga is a super scientific highway traveling which we can all attain to this promised land, which this promised land is that pure chitta, which reflects the spirit clearly. And once we do see, so what is the samadhi state? So samadhi state is that where your mind is so pure that it is reflecting the spirit, and you know in a sense that you are that spirit. So now, if just going back to the water example of the pond, the lake, and the reflection, if you see that reflection very, very clearly, let us say, but if you touch the lake, if you want to touch the reflection in the water, what will you touch? You will touch only water. Although it appears like the blue sky, although the reflection appears like the mountain, it appears green in color for the trees, but once you touch it, it's actually water. So this goes on to say that eventually all of that is made of that one single substance of Brahman, of which we are made. So all of this eventually takes us back to, so whatever we study in the Gita, eventually we have to bring it back to ourselves and see how this is going to apply to my life, and how, if Krishna is saying that this is the soul and this is nature, then how do I identify with my soul nature, and how do I transcend all these difficulties and challenges that are coming in my life, and they are making me bewildered, and they are making me think that I am only this little body, and I am only this mind, I am all the problems that I am facing in life. Yet the truth is completely different, that I am that changeless essence, and these changes that are happening in my life, these are just very, very transient, they are very temporary, they will arise and they will cease, and it is best that I stay calm and centered and become a witness of these changes. Okay. Right, so this will bring us, okay, now master goes on to explain, of course, that the soul is covered not only by the physical body. We know that there are three layers of bodies. One is the causal body, then the astral body, and then outermost is the physical body. And then the outer body we feed with food, in the astral body is fed by energy, and the causal body is fed by thoughts. Now what happens at physical death is that only the physical body drops away. So the connection, the pranic connection between the ideational body and the matter or body is cut asunder, and the physical body will die. But what happens to all the desires and attachments and attitudes and likes and dislikes that you have developed in this life? All of them are stored as energy data in the ideational and astral bodies, and they are stored in the chakras, as you say, the sukshma sharira, the subtle body goes on, and then it has to manifest and create more physical bodies, because all the energy that has been stored has to be played out. Otherwise, the universal mathematical balance of zero cannot be maintained. And therefore, once the energy has been put into motion, so for example, once you have created a very, very strong desire for something, a very strong attachment for something, it's like a movement of energy. It's like a wavelet in that, a ocean of existence. And then how will that wave eventually cancel itself? Is that either it has to be fulfilled, or another powerful wave of similar energy has to cut it away. So it has to be, something has to be done about it if we want the universal balance to be zero. Therefore, all the desires, attachments, everything that we do has to eventually work out. And therefore, it is important that we really, really watch out as to what desires we are having. Every little desire that we have in the lake of our mind, in our chitta now, is going to have to work itself out. And for that, it will have to create many more physical bodies. And of course, more physical body means against the same sequence of birth, of growth, of decay, of disease, of death. And of course, all of that means a lot of suffering. Okay. So unless we are very clear on this, we may think that, oh, these little desires are okay. And so is it really practical not to have desire? Or does not having desire means an ambitionless existence? So let us clarify these important points. So Master said that since God has given you hunger, you're going to have desire for food. Now that is okay. So that means we need to modify our desires. We need to keep only those simple desires which are necessary to maintain a basal existence, so that we can then utilize the energy available to us and our mental processes for higher contemplation. The other thing he says, that desirelessness does not mean an ambitionless existence. It simply means that you are not desiring selfish fruits of action from it. Whatever action you are doing it as, always remembering that God is the doer, and you are always doing it as service to the Lord, and you are not expecting any personal fruits of action. And that way you can have great noble ambitions in this life, always also remembering that you are that changeless spirit, and this is only a temporary part that you are playing. If you have all the truth of existence and reality of soul within you, and you understand all of these truths, then you act in this world for noble causes, for great ambitions, then you must do. But again, always remember that, have you got the truth with you in your pocket or not? You know what Sri Ramakrishna would say: understand non-duality, understand the Advaitic nature of reality, that there is one existence and that is who you are. And once you have understood that, then tie it in the corner of your, like, remember Indian ladies in West Bengal or in any part of India, they would tie their keys or something at the end of their sari. So he would say, tie this knowledge of Advaita at the end of your sari, or keep it in your pocket, and then you do whatever you have to do in this world. So once you have that knowledge, then it's okay to have certain modified simple desires, and also always giving them back to God again, and also doing noble works in this world. Okay. Now, here Master suggests that especially when you are going through times of difficulty, like sickness, like physical torture, like when you're having these morbid thoughts of fear. So suppose there is a sickness and you're having this fearful thought that, I am going to die, then what is going to happen? And so, because there is the fear of the unknown, and there are negative suggestions by, of course, by people around you. These are all actually satanic expressions. In your own mind also, you will have many mental citizens which will tell you that you should be, you should feel fearful, that you should be anxious, you should be worried, and then they will also bring out some guilt and shame from the past, and all of that confusion can happen. So what you should do is that you, at this time especially, you must remember the truth of your own immortality, of the fact that you are made of the changeless spirit, and that nothing can happen to you. Even if the body is annihilated, your existence is going to continue beyond the scope of this this particular life or this bodily existence. Okay. Thus does the Bhagavad Gita emphasize the following qualities of the self. It is unborn, though it is born in a body. It is eternal, though its bodily dwelling is impermanent. It is changeless, though it may experience change. It is ever the same, though in the long pathway of reincarnation, which leads to God, the soul appears in countless forms. The soul is not slain when the body dies, and even when the soul returns to spirit, it does not lose its identity, but will exist unto everlastingness. So this we must always remember, that none of us is going to die in our pure essence. Master would say that death is nothing but, it's like changing, going from one room to another. From one frequency to another frequency, you will shift depending on, of course, the storehouse of karma, of desires, of of your direction in life, of your attitudes. But none of us, we are all pure spirit reflections, we are pure souls, and we cannot die. Do not associate yourself all the time with this physical body. Always, therefore, it is important that we meditate every day, because only in meditation do we touch the essence of our soul. And every day, as our meditation becomes longer and deeper, we find that more and more we can associate with that changeless soul, and more we get convinced that yes, my existence is more than this body and mind, that actually there is no possibility of my dying, because I am existence, consciousness, bliss itself, and that cannot be annihilated. This brings us to shloka number 21. Veda vinashinam nityam ya enam janma vavyayam katham sa purusha partha kammadhyati hantikam. जो व्यक्ति इस आत्मा को अविनाशी, नित्य, शाश्वत, जन्म रहित और परिवर्तन रहित जानता है, वह संभवतः यह कैसे सोच सकता है कि यह आत्मा किसी अन्य आत्मा के विनाश का कारण हो सकती है? हे पार्थ, यह किसे मारती है? How can he, who knows the self to be imperishable, everlastingly permanent, birthless and changeless, possibly think that this self can cause the destruction of another? O Parth, whom does it slay? Okay. So here comes in the question of two levels actually. In the outside battle, a master says that if somebody is actually on the battlefield, for somebody who's in the army, navy, or any defense services, and there is an actual situation where a killing has to be involved. So here one must, again, if one has studied and understood the Gita, if one has meditated and has felt the infinite nature, knows that actually by killing the physical body, the soul will not be killed, and that by killing another body, what the soldier is doing is he is performing his duty to protect the peace of his country, of men and women who are innocent and whose lives cannot be lost. So therefore, a person standing on the defense line, when has to kill or is killed, has to keep these things in mind, because only if he keeps these thoughts in his mind, he will always be free from guilt of having killed people, because it was necessary, not because he wanted to harm them or it was his personal desire or some ambition to kill those people, but it was a necessary part of his duty. And that even though he has killed certain physical bodies, the souls of those, those souls are not killed. So this will help the soldier to play his part even more efficiently, and without having the negative connotations of all the problems that war people have. And we know how much traumatic stress disorders they have, and post-war scenarios, how many mental disturbances all these people go through. So it is important that we remember these things, and not only the soldier on the defense line, on a daily basis. Now it's like a battle on a daily basis. People who are even in banking jobs, people who are teaching, people who are in medical professional, in that profession. So all of them have to, sometimes you have to scold the other person, sometimes you have to be strict with the other person, sometimes you have to be really, you have to take a very sharp and stern stand in your life, in whatever profession you are. So again, it is important that we remember that whatever we are doing to another person is we are doing from the ego personality body level, and is being done to another ego personality level. And yet you must remember that both of you, you yourself and the client or the student or the other person in front of you, is nothing but soul, the spirit, which is a reflection of God. And that is why, in India, we always do namaste. We must remember, when we say namaste, we say, I bow to the soul in you. And therefore, when we do our daily transactions, whether it is in the marketplace or it is in our office, we must remember that all those people whom we are dealing with on a daily basis are pure souls. They are reflections of that infinite spirit, and they are not separate from you. If you keep this consciousness in yourself every day, then you will find that your behavior automatically, your attitudes automatically start to become divine. And once you divinize your life, that is, one of the goals of spirituality. One, of course, is to realize that you are the divine itself, but also that divinity must manifest itself in your daily life. Whatever you do in your life, if you remember that you are a channel of that infinite spirit, then accordingly you will behave. Behave like the child of God, not like, a prodigal son or daughter who's just following the whims and fancies. Be responsible, be mature, evolve, and understand that once you are in this human body and you have this nervous system and you have this questioning power of the truth, where you can yearn, you can seek, once you have these attributes, then you might as well behave as a good child of God. And once you do that, then automatically you will find the harmony in your life will be restored, because you will be in sync with the universal harmony. The other thing that we talk about, being on the defense line, is that this battle is an inner battle all the time. So what we are killing is not people outside of ourselves. What we are killing is our lower nature within ourselves. So by killing the indulgences by the senses and the habit patterns that are created by those indulgences, we are not killing the senses themselves, and we are not killing the power of those senses, means the power to see, the power to hear. We are only withdrawing the energy from useless sense indulgences, and according to our own will and becoming a master of our mind and our senses, we are using that available energy in whatever direction we want to use. So that is the inner battle that is happening inside each one of us. And it is a battle that we will anyway have to fight, because we have to, if we want to go back to God, then we have to reascend the descent that we have taken. We know that the soul has descended into the body, down the chakras, and the kundalini has got locked at the base of the spine. If we want to reverse the process, then we again have to fight this battle with the senses, and this will have to be fought sooner or later. Might as well we fight it now itself. Okay. So metaphysically, when Krishna is talking to Arjuna, so Master says, the dialogue is thus: "O my lower self, you must lift yourself to my plane of higher soul consciousness. Even if you destroy the wicked attachments to the senses, you are foolish to think that the senses themselves will be destroyed. Your higher self only purifies the lower self. It does not destroy it. Therefore, the devotee is justified in transmuting his evil desires." This brings us to shloka number 22. Vasansi jirnani yatha vihaya navani grihanati naro aparani तथा शरीराणि विहाय जीर्णान्यानि संयाति नवानि देहि। जिस प्रकार कोई व्यक्ति जीर्ण वस्त्रों को त्याग कर नवीन वस्त्र पहन लेता है, उसी प्रकार ही देह वृद्ध आत्मा जीर्ण शरीर रूपी घर का त्याग कर अन्य नवीन घरों में प्रवेश करती है। Just as an individual, forsaking dilapidated raiment, dons new clothes, so the body encased soul, relinquishing decayed bodily habitations, enters others that are new. Now, this is a classical Gita shloka that we've heard, but have we really understood? And it is important that we understand this, because once we understand this fact, which we have discussed in the previous shlokas, that We are the soul encased in different layers of bodies, and at physical death, only the body, which is just the outer covering, which is nothing but an external garment, only that is shed away. But because there are stored desires and energy patterns in the astral and causal bodies, therefore it has to create new bodies. New body means another set of clothes to operate in this world and to cancel all the karmic effects that have been created in the past. And it has to wear new bodily garments, and again that bodily garment will decay and die at death, and again another bodily garment has to be worn, and so on. This journey will continue birth after birth until the soul realizes and starts to understand that, oh my God, I am caught up. What is it that is happening to me? So once your mind starts to analyze, your mind has, the soul reflects in your mind a little bit, and the mind starts to analyze and says, what am I doing? Why am I doing? Where am I coming from? Where am I going? Is this going to happen again and again with me or no? So asking the important questions and then asking the bigger question as to how can I exit this continuous wheel or this machinery of life and death that I'm caught into. What is it that I must do? And then, and of course, the entire Gita discourse will tell us as to how we can exit this cycle of birth and death, and how do we get rid of these bodily garments. Okay. When the body becomes diseased, old, or karmically useless, the undying soul forsakes it for a fresh disguise. The immortal cosmic director sends soul actors made in his image to play the parts of numerous incarnations on this stage of life. The actors, costumed variously, look different in each new role, yet remain themselves unchanged. Now, there is a beauty in this. There is an awe factor in this, that we are wearing different bodily garments, and we are adorning different personalities in each life. And Master said that whatever personality that you are adorning right now, means the genotype and the phenotype, in the sense your genetic makeup and your personality attributes, this is a unique combination of the soul covered in causal astral bodies with the current bodily incarnation. This will never be repeated. So you, in all eternity and infinity, what you are right now, whatever personality you depict, your uniqueness cannot be cloned, it cannot be duplicated. Therefore, we must utilize this current body personality. Firstly, we must accept, acknowledge, and be happy about having to play this role that we are playing, and then ask ourselves that, is this all that we are, or is that unchanging self underneath it which we should associate with? So of course, unless we understand the uniqueness of our role, we cannot be entertained by the drama of life. So on the one hand, we go to deeper knowledge and understanding and know that we are that infinite soul which cannot be destroyed. On the other hand, the parallel transactional reality is that right now I'm playing a role of a particular person. So, and this is a unique role, and I have been given a unique opportunity to take part in the Leela of God, and also to realize myself as the soul. So let me utilize each day of this role that I'm playing right now to the best of my capability. Not only do I play my part well, but at the same time, I also keep moving inwards and evolving higher to understanding my soul nature. Okay. The lifespan or durability of a physical body in any one incarnation is ordained by the law of karma. Now, this is something which we, whether we like it or not, whether we understand it or not, we will have to accept. When we were reading the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, Patanjali also clearly stated this fact. He said that the species that you are born into, means which, whether you're in the animal kingdom or whether you have a human body, that is number one. The length of your life and the quality of your life, all these three things are decided by whatever karmic background that you have. So it is important also to realize that whatever we are doing right now in life is we are writing the book of our life. So we must be attuned to higher wisdom and highest wisdom of the soul, so that we do not create karma right now for which we will have to pay later. So eventually transcending the ego is the highest goal, because once the ego is out of the picture, then the karma has no signpost to adhere itself to. So therefore, we, on the one hand, we watch the play of this life, and we know that our karma is, it's like mathematics, and it is going to play out. So whatever thing comes in my life, whether it is pleasure or pain, I stay calm. And then I, of course, transcend the karma by transcending my ego and understanding that God is the doer, and transferring all my attention from the ego to the soul by all paths of yoga like karma, bhakti, jnana, and dhyan. So by doing that, when I transcend the ego, then whatever karma, even if I had lots of karma, which of course is the truth, that has nothing to stick by, and therefore it can be transcended. Therefore, it is our highest need. It is not our right or our duty. Simply, it is the highest need if we want to transcend the suffering of this life or many more lives to come, that we become a Jivan Mukta in this life. That means we are able to transcend ego consciousness, and we are able to associate ourselves with soul consciousness. Okay. Transgressions against God and nature in present or in past lives shortens the normal span of life by disease or by accident. Or sometimes even virtue may win the soul an early release. So sometimes if the soul is very, very virtuous, he may die earlier than expected, because he doesn't have any more karma to fulfill. He has already, or she has already transcended the ego, and no more karmic balance is required. Therefore, the person may die before it is ordained. Now, this, this I will refer to Swami Kriyananda, because in one of the Agastya readings that he had, it was said that he will leave his physical frame at the age of 91, but he left at the age of 87. So this is exactly how, it is an example to show us that a lot of virtue can help to release you from this decaying, diseased body and the cycle of birth and death. So this does not mean that we are desiring death. All we are desiring is we want our eternal freedom back. We do not want to suffer. We want to rise above suffering, and eternal joy is our birthright, and we shall have it. So how are we going to have it? Only by transcending the I-ness which we have accumulated. And because there is an I, therefore there is the likes and the dislikes and the I, me, mine situation. Therefore, once I transcend that, therefore I can win an early release. Therefore, by all means, all the evil habits that we have must be killed. That means the battle of Kurukshetra has to be fought. We must transcend the bad by the good, and eventually we must transcend both the bad and the good with the highest wisdom, that we are the soul, and as the little I or ego, we were never the doer. Okay. In every case, the bodily dwelling is fashioned and destined to best serve for each lifetime the self-created karmic pattern of the indwelling ego-identified soul. So a very important statement is being said here. It says, whatever body you have right now, it has been fashioned especially for you. For you means the karmic energy patterns that are installed, which needs a particular type of body. It needs a particular type of family orientation, because then it can work out that karma in the best way possible. So a little side reference here is that self-acceptance means, of course, self-realization means realizing that I am the soul is one important thing. But when we are working with the ego, then self-acceptance means whatever qualities that you have, whatever attributes you have, whatever is there with your personality, you must accept it and lovingly accept it. So because unless you lovingly accept all the traits that you have, whether don't judge them too much, whether they are good or bad. No need to feel ashamed or guilty for anything. Just say, this is who I am right now according to my limited understanding, and I will start to work with this. I will not reject any aspect of who I am. Yes, I have all kinds of thoughts in my mind. Some are very good thoughts, noble thoughts, but sometimes I have these silly thoughts of, oh, this thing is very beautiful, let me pick it up. Sometimes I have thoughts like, I want to own this person, or I want to own these things. Sometimes I have desires like, I want to, travel by plane and so on. Or it can be anything. I'm just giving, random casual references. But what I'm trying to say is, we all have these thoughts. Accept them just as they are. Just try to see the storehouse of your mind just as it is and accept it, that these are the things that are in my mental sky, and I will work towards cleaning the storehouse of my mind, because I know that when I clean the mirror of my mind, my own mind complex will will lead me to self-realization, but because it will start reflecting the infinite spirit. Therefore, work for self-realization, but also at the egoic level, work with self-acceptance, and whatever is unique to you. It has been created for you, and all of us have to transcend whatever that little egoic thing is with us. We all have our own limitations. For some, greed may be a problem. For another person, lust may be a problem. For another person, anger may be a problem, or fear, or worry, or anxiety, or grabbing, or clinging. There are so many kauravas, there are so many negative virtues. The fact that we are all here present in physical bodies on earth means we are works in progress. There are certain things that we are all here to work with. So don't judge yourself and don't judge others. Just trust the divine. Trust the fact that the Guru, who is one with the divine, who is self-realized, has come to rescue you from your own little limitations. With that, start with good amount of sincere self-effort and start to fight these battles that we all have to eventually fight. Okay. Because the ordinary body-bound individual lacks divine inner assurance of the continuity of life and has no recollection of the countless times the soul has walked in and out of the portals of birth and death. He is full of fear as well as grief at the approach of death. However, in sleep every night, an individual discards the consciousness of the tired body and mind and finds peace. In the greater sleep of death, a man forsakes the disease-torn body and the attachment-corroded mind for a restful state of joy. Now, this is very an important example to take. And so sleep, Master said sleep is pseudo-death, or death is pseudo-sleep. Just like when we are tired from the day's work, we are not afraid to go to sleep. We know that sleep will rejuvenate us. And when we get up in the morning, the next morning, we are there is an assurance that yes, we will get up. And 99.999% we do get up. Of course, there are certain souls who don't, but mostly we do get up. And we have the same traits that we had. So if I had, certain attitudes in our likes and dislikes the previous day, I continue to have them the next day. I don't become an angel, or I don't become a demon the next day when I get up. I am what I am, isn't it? So similarly, in the sleep of death, firstly, we must not be afraid to go into the unknown, because that unknown is not really unknown. We have been there multiple times. Secondly, it is a state of rest. And that after that restfulness, we will be waking. If we have more incarnations, we will be waking up in new bodies, in new frequencies, where we can start afresh and leaving away a lot of negativity from the past. We are given a clean slate. Or if we are going towards moksha, then we discard all bodies and we stay as existence, consciousness, bliss. In either case, there is no need to be afraid of death, considering it to be as easy, as simple as going into sleep. You will, as we said earlier, none of us as souls is going to die. Our existence is, according to scriptures, is guaranteed for all eternity and infinity. We do not go out of existence, and that is the reality. We might as well associate ourselves with that reality on a daily basis by regular meditation, and of course by other means like bhakti, karma, and jnana. Just as a desire for life brings the sleeping man to the state of wakefulness, so subconscious desires for a lost physical body and for the earth environment act as vibratory attractive forces that re-embody the soul again within a mother's womb. So Master is very clear. He is saying that once you drop the physical body, you go into a state of a restfulness in the astral world. And there, once your subconscious desires after a state of rest they are activated again. So again, therefore, the desire to get into a physical body arises. And again, so according to the frequency of your karmic pattern, you are born in a particular family. And this cycle goes on and on infinitely till the soul eventually decides to free itself from its ego identification. And of course, the Guru helps us to, when the Guru comes, it's like, there's a magic wand and he strikes on our head and says, wake up, this is all a dream, this is a Leela, you are a soul, let's go home, So utilize this amazing opportunity of this life that you have, where you have drawn the Guru in your orbit, and he's waking you up from this slumber, this sleep of delusion of a cosmic hypnosis to know who you really are. Okay. This brings us to shloka number 23. Nenam chindanti shastrani, nenam dahati pavakah, na chainam kledayantyapo, na shoshayati marutah. कोई शस्त्र आत्मा का छेदन नहीं कर सकता, कोई आग इसे जला नहीं सकती, कोई जल भिगो नहीं सकता, ना ही कोई वायु इसे सुखा सकती है. No weapon can pierce the soul, no fire can burn it, no water can moisten it, nor can any wind wither it. So this is also one of the famous shlokas that we have. And Master goes into a beautiful explanation here, and he says, by the use of the five vibrations, the spirit created the intellect, mind, life, and by grosser vibrations, the kinetic energy and atomic matter. The weapons of earth or solids, of fire or energy, of water or liquids, of air or wind, all are part of the gross vibration. The soul is vibrationless in a sense, and it is reactionless. It is a reactionless vibration of joy. It is bliss itself, which is vibrationless. Therefore, it cannot be disturbed by gross vibrations. Now, to make it very, very simple, let's think of a very, very deep ocean. Now, we know that after every 100 feet or 50 meters, let us say, the type of the animals, the water animals that are marine animals that are there in the ocean changes. And the animals that are in the depth of the marine trench will be very, very different from the water animals, the aquatic beings which are on the surface of the ocean. So just as a little ripple on the surface of the ocean can do nothing to the water in the deep marine trench, so similarly, the vibrations of water, gross vibrations of the five elements like fire, earth, water, and so on, they cannot touch at all the vibrationless element of the soul. The soul is vibrationless. So it is important for us to make this distinction. And how do we understand this distinction? The simple technique of concentration that the Guru has given us, the Hong Saw technique. Once we are able to practice Hong Saw, even to some extent, we find that the pauses that are happening in between the breaths, which are the little breathless and the thoughtless states that are present in between those breaths, they are actually untouched by the movement of the breath and even by the movement of thought and emotions in our being. So now be very watchful next time when you are doing Hong So. You will find that the longer and the deeper the pauses that you have, it is that vibrationless aspect that you touch directly, which is your soul self, which cannot be disturbed by grosser vibrations. And that is why Master said that Hong So technique in itself is enough for self-realization. Anybody who practices regularly, sincerely Hong So every day in itself is sufficient to lead you to final emancipation and self-realization. Okay. Gross and fine vibratory manifestations are both not but one dreaming consciousness of spirit, expressing through the individualized dreaming consciousness the soul. Even as God creates on a cosmic scale, the consciousness of man in the dream state can create individualized personalities or souls with will, thought, feeling, and also the appearances of bodies, solids, liquids, gases, and energy. No matter how devastating the happening of the dream, the dreamer is never hurt by them. He finds himself safe after the dream is over. Similarly, the human soul dreamer may be frightened temporarily by his experiences during the dream of life. But when he awakens in God, lo, he is safe and sound. So here, Master has compared the existence, the waking state with the dream state that we have. And we all know that when we are dreaming, in our dream consciousness, means our own mind stuff can create solids, liquids, gases. It can create people, circumstances, situation. It can create colors. It can also create emotions. It can also create thoughts. Everything which appears to be true to life, it can be created in a dream. But the fact is that the dreamer is never hurt by whatever happens in the dream. So also never gain, in the sense, suppose in the dream, you say, I have won $1 million, I have lottery, I have won. But when you wake up, where is that money? It is not there, right? So similarly, if you get hurt in the dream, if you fall from a height in the dream, or if somebody is killing you in the dream, and of course, if somebody is killing you in the dream, you will have the emotion of fear, anxiety. So all the associated thoughts and emotions, everything will happen. If a tiger is behind you, you will have all that fear and all that scenario. But once you wake up, all of that, you just discard all of it just as a dream. Similarly, this waking state, and we have discussed in the holy science and other places, that how there is this one Upanishad called the Mandukya Upanishad, which compares the waking state and the dream state, and with discrete and detailed examples, it tells you, explains to you that how there is no difference between the waking state and the dreaming state, and that this life that we are leading right now is nothing but part of the cosmic dream. The little consciousness, through its mind body complex, is dreaming a dream, and we are experiencing all that we do similarly as we do when we are dreaming. And what happens when we wake up? We wake up to find out that the ego itself was a dream, that actually there is it is an illusory presence. That means your separate existence is an illusion. This all is a complete one ocean of existence. And just like a movie plays on the screen and nothing happens to the screen, so similarly, the substratum of your existence, which is one continuous bliss and existence consciousness, nothing happens to that when so many egoic roles are played upon it lifetime after lifetime. It does not change. And the Guru comes in our life to awaken us from this dream consciousness, where we feel lost, where we feel limited, where we think that I am this little I, me, mine personality. And he says, no, you are that. Thou art that. Thou art the infinite eternal spirit. Shivo aham. Aham brahmasmi. The Guru comes in our life to awaken us to this truth, and therefore all the dream of the suffering of not just one life but many lifetimes is immediately annihilated. Just like bringing a light will immediately take down the darkness, so once we wake up to our soul consciousness with the help of the Guru and his given techniques and teachings, immediately in one go, we are immediately healed of the delusion of separate existence. And the beauty about getting to know who you really are, the beauty about even a little degree of self-realization is that it is permanent. Even if you've had once the glimpse of your existence as the soul nature, it is never lost and it is never reversed. So with that thought, we will end today's class, and we will share the blessings of these teachings, their power and their love with all souls everywhere. Let us all pray together. Divine Mother, beloved Lord Krishna, thou art omnipresent. Thou art in all thy children. Manifest thy healing presence in all bodies, all minds, and all souls. Oh, oh, oh. Divine Mother, beloved Krishna, may thy love shine forever on the sanctuary of our devotion, and may we be able to awaken thy love in all hearts. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.